The Boston real estate market is always an interesting topic, whether it's discussing the new projects and the growing sectors that keep the city's property values on an ongoing high, or the serious repercussions of gentrification on low-income folks. The issue is always a relevant one. This morning, we are joined by two brothers who co-founded DNA Realty, a full-service real estate team focused on the Middlesex County and surrounding towns. We've invited them in here to give us their take on the Boston real estate area and the market, and to see where the opportunities are for both buyers and sellers. The two brothers, David and Arthur Martiroso. Thank you for coming in. Welcome to Urban Update, gentlemen. David, let me start with you. I'm sure you get this question all the time,
yep.
But how do you describe the current Boston real estate market? Sort of an overview.
Well, the current Boston real market is obviously incredibly hot. You know, for the average price for most of Boston, multifamily condos and single families is $1.5 million. It used to be $730,000 just 5 years ago.
Wow, wow. Arthur, now, would you consider this a seller's market right now? And also, what makes Boston, I guess, kind of this region kind of unique?
Yeah, it's absolutely a seller's market, and it's been one for the last 5 years. As my brother mentioned, the prices have been up over 98%. And one of the reasons that is we have such great school systems, colleges, a lot of financial jobs, and a lot of accounting jobs. Those types of businesses tend to be really conducive to the real estate environment.
Okay. Now, David, let's take a look at some key areas of been really incredible growth there. We've got a graphic to put up on the screen.
Yep.
You can take a look at it right there. This is sort of the national average, the overview. Talk about this a little bit.
If you just take a quick look here, nationally, you know, the United States has grown at 47%. If you look at Boston, it's 98%, which is 2 times the national average. I mean, look at that, 1.5 million for the price point. Chelsea, one of the towns that is probably going to get gentrified really, really quickly, it's happening now, they're at a rate of 91%. So obviously the Boston market's an incredible one to invest in at this time.
Wow, and look at Dorchester right there too. The property values, I guess, have gone up a lot, and 61% growth in Dorchester.
That's a big deal.
Wow.
That's a big deal.
That is really amazing. I guess, so what's the good news? Property values go up. That's obviously good news for homeowners, but
yeah.
I don't know about buyers, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great news for homeowners, and it's great because people have equity. So if they have to sell, they could downsize, they could upsize, and they could, you know, use that equity to really buy bigger property and move up. The good news for buyers is interest rates are extremely low right now, and they've been like that for a while. It's probably unsustainable, so you have a great opportunity to get that big mortgage at a lower interest rate. So that's the good news for buyers right now.
Yeah, you hear the folks in New York, the Fed, talking about raising the interest rates, and it's getting closer and closer that time, because they have been low for a long time.
A very long time, yes.
And that makes a big difference when you're buying a home, that interest rate, doesn't it?
Yeah, huge, and that's probably part of the reason why the real estate market in Boston has been so strong.
Okay. Now, David, what about the bad news? Gentrification forces that poor folks out of neighborhoods. I guess you could argue that it leads to more homeless families, less diverse areas. What about that?
Well, obviously areas where rents are going to change because of the fact that people are buying these properties and they're raising the rents and the market's going up. Obviously, people who are able to afford certain properties or property values just aren't going to be able to afford them anymore, and they're going to have to kind of span out and move further outside of the city, you know.
And you see all these condos going up, you know, the $1 million condos. You see people moving in and buying up modest homes and then tearing them down and putting up expensive, McMansions and so forth. You know, what about that? That's really, I mean, that's what drives like regular people out of some of these neighborhoods, is it not?
Yeah, well, we've sold a property, a 3-family, particularly in Dorchester, about 2-3 years ago for $400,000. That same multifamily now is about $700,000. So.
Wow.
Obviously, a person that would be able to afford it for $400 is not buying it for $700.
Arthur, so is it easier to buy a home today in Boston or harder, do you think?
It's a little bit more challenging because the average price point is $1.5 million. But the good news is if you have great income and money and great credit, the interest rates are extremely low. And as we looked at the chart earlier, there's a lot of opportunities in those subsectors, areas outside the city as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, Boston is obviously one of the most expensive cities to live in the country. In the next 5 years, is that trend going to continue, or just going to be one of the most expensive places to live?
Well, it'll be one of the most expensive places to live. We have a very thriving city, and it's always been good, and it's grown. Over the last 30 years, it's grown a lot, and I think it'll continue to grow.
Now, before we go, a little bit about your family business. You guys are brothers, co-founders of DNA Realty. How and why did you get into this line of work and, and stick together as brothers doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. We started in about 2009, and we were actually looking to purchase our dad a house. And the experience that we got from other realtors is we just felt like a number. And, we started looking, and my brother actually suggested it. He said, we can do this. We should get our real estate licenses, and we did.
Wow. How is it like having a family business, working with your brother like this?
We fight every day in suits.
Just like when you were kids, huh?
Just like when we were kids, just like when we were sharing bunk beds, it's the same. But we have a good time, and we have a good business, and we help a lot of people.
Okay, David and Arthur Martiroso, thank you both for coming in, and good luck with your business. And wow, I don't know what to say about those real estate rates. See if you can find me something I can afford. Thanks.
All right, done deal.
Okay, well, when we return, identifying new approaches to increase the supply of affordable housing for families with extremely low incomes, right here on Urban Update.